Welcome back to another episode of Scryer's Room. I am your host, Fanfare.
I'm Kevin.
Mario.
And today we're going to discuss Ridley Scott's series of films based in the Aliens universe.
Yes, Alien, and Aliens, and Alien Covenant, and Alien Romulus, and Alien, and all the comics, and all the stuff. I recently did a deep dive, you see.
Yeah, so before you go on your esoteric knowledge here, I'd like to start off by saying Aliens in this, like, the series of movies, out of all of the sci-fi movies I have seen up until very recently, had the most convincing mech design. And that was such a long time
Oh,
ago.
yeah, the loader.
The loader.
Power loader?
The power loader. That was like, when I think of, like, jackets and biomechanica, like, a pressurized version of that is basically like the low-end version.
I mean, it makes sense. It's supposed to be like a mining power loader. That's exactly what it would need to look like for just, like, commercial purposes.
An enclosed one of those is basically the Terran SCV. Like, which is the builder unit in StarCraft. Yeah, so, like, I don't know. It just with the big old power claw, the little clamp, and then she fights the alien in it. What a great scene.
Get away from her, you bitch.
Yeah.
A more classic line there isn't.
Which, quick little side. I don't know if this is true or not.
Hit me with it.
So the first movie is just Alien.
Yes.
And then apparently there's a story of how Ridley Scott pitched the sequel, which was he went into the room of suits guys and just wrote on the board Alien and then put a $sign at the end.
We're going to get James Cameron, and it's going to be fucking incredible. Yeah. We're going to make so much money, you guys.
It was either him or James Cameron. One of the two apparently supposedly did that, and that was like...
Was it James Cameron who did the Aliens?
What a fucking power move.
I don't know.
Like, he just knows. He knows, like...
Well, Ridley Scott did the... I know he did the first
Yeah, he did Alien. That was...
yeah, that's... apparently that was the main pitch, was just $sign at the end.
Oh, man.
I mean...
That'll do it, yeah. Like, because they know how well the first one did. Like, it blew my fucking mind.
Yeah. Many people still consider it to be, like, one of the greatest, like that is the horror action movie.
Yeah.
If we were to, like, make that a genre, and we need to crown, like, a platonic ideal, Aliens fucking nailed it.
I feel like, I know this is me basing this off of actually nothing, but I feel like, oh my god, what is the one? Oh my god. Event Horizon. I feel like because of Alien, that's how movies like that got greenlit. Which ties back into our previous episode where we talked about how that's based on 40K.
I was about to say, I remember us talking about this last time. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I rewatched that now as an adult, and that movie is The Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, you brought this up.
Okay,
time, yeah.
okay. Then ignore me.
It's a fun movie.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not like...
Yeah.
Compared to Aliens, it's not a great movie.
Yeah, I think genuinely Aliens is what got, like, a lot of that style of movie made, where it's like, what if horror in space? Because it was, like, obviously profitable and a thing that people were interested in.
Which is funny, because Event Horizon missed the point.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Went for, like, gore and, spooky stuff. And then Alien and Aliens is just, like, if the lights are on, the alien is no longer scary.
Yeah.
Because they have you can watch, like, behind the scenes footage, the guy in the suit can't move.
Oh, man.
Like,
yeah, he's trapped.
So it's all camera trickery in those, like, early movies.
That makes sense.
If you see any of, like, the behind the scenes pictures of the guy in the suit, you can actually, like, him without the helmet, he is scarier than the actual alien outfit.
He's so,
because
like, spindly.
Without, like, the camera tricks, he looks exactly like what he actually is, which is a black guy in a costume who's just very long. He's just a very long man.
It's just a very tall, skinny dude.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It is absolutely like a testament to, like, how camera trickery and, like, puppeteering can work, that the aliens look like aliens rather than
everything
just a
behind
dude.
the camera is fake.
That's actually, like, a like type of person that they need to do, like, monster films. Like, there's a guy who does all the Guillermo del Toro stuff.
So,
and he's apparently just another Skeleton Man. And those suits only work because they fill in his body with the prosthetics.
I love that guy. He did Abe Sapien in the in Hellboy.
Okay, yeah.
He's also in one of the new Star Trek things my dad was watching. He's like an alien man in that as well. They love making him a weird spindly man that can talk nice.
Yeah, it only works because he's just...
Yeah. I mean, it works
sure
because
you're a beautiful person.
What an interesting typecast.
I mean, the typecast is Marfan syndrome.
Okay, fair enough.
Which is like a medical condition. It's a common medical condition that's hardly like the worst thing in the world. My older brother has it.
Okay.
But like, it's Abraham Lincoln had it.
Okay.
That's why he was a weird, long gentleman. He'd do great. He'd be a great alien. Abraham Lincoln?
No, yeah, he would. Absolutely.
Yeah. He's got all the ridges in his head so that you could just really make him look fucked up and crazy.
God damn. Okay. I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah. But, yeah, so, you guys mind if I nerd out about Alien for a minute?
Yeah, good to go, yeah.
Alright, so, I did a deep dive of checking out all the lore and everything from the movies, the video games, the comics, and this was all started because I didn't see it, I want to see it, but I literally watched like a not a review, a summary on YouTube of a person just being like, hey, this is the Alien Romulus that just came out. I know I can watch it right now on Hulu, but I'm a busy man who has lots of dumb things to read about and do. Anyway, Alien Romulus. The beginning of it is human character nonsense to get them onto the spaceship where aliens be. But like one of the key like parts of it is in the first Alien movie, they show like one of the key methods that you use to kill alien in all these movies really is you push them out of the airlock. Once they're in space, they get all crinkly like a spider that you hit with Raid, and then you don't have to worry about them again. They're in space. Anyway, that doesn't kill them at all. Like that does nothing to them besides severely inconvenience them.
Yeah, so they're just because they're pressurized, right?
Yeah, they're completely pressurized. That's why their blood shoots out of them like a friggin' super soaker.
They don't They don't need oxygen, right? Like
no.
they're fucking filled with acid.
Yeah,
they don't have like blood.
Yeah, the blood that actually like squirts out of them isn't blood in the way that we think of it, where it's like an oxygenating factor for your musculature and organs. It's literally they're living batteries, and that's battery acid because the
metal.
Yeah, and it just fucking incredible. Anyway, so Weyland-Yutani, the evil corporation, they just found that shit in space, and
big net.
well, it had been a couple of years, so he had been like sort of like crunched up with like rocks and shit. So like he's more of like half a fossil, this alien, and they're like, well, we don't have a living alien, but we can do something with this alien, which is the thing that we've been wondering about all of this stuff for a long time. That, in my opinion, makes like I liked Prometheus. I didn't like it very much as an alien movie. But it makes Prometheus and all of like the subsequent modern Alien movies, I feel, it makes them all come together completely. Because what were they able to synthesize from the fossilized alien in space? The evil black goo. It's called the pathogen in like the actual universe. But that's what the aliens are for.
Yeah, what a great way to... So, I only saw half of Prometheus that I can recall. I've probably seen bits and pieces of it here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember watching the opening, and then the lanky ass alien motherfucker guy, just pours out the black goo, and I remember thinking, evil goo.
He drinks it and it evaporates him like it's gluten in South Park.
Yeah.
And so apparently, like the actual lore of all of this is that the engineer race, the handsome Squidward, super ripped Giga Chads, their whole race doesn't believe in complicated machines. They believe in biomechanical and organic technology. So like there's spacesuits and everything that like made the original space jockey, which was like the pilot that they saw in the ship where they in the first Alien movie.
Yeah.
Why he looked like he had like a big elephant thing and everything. That's what their spacesuits look like. Why does it look like it's his skin? Because it is skin. It's a different animal they made into a spacesuit. That's what they do with all their big technology. And the way that they do it is with this pathogen. And in Prometheus, we see that, like, in the actual, like, engineer's ship, there is a massive mural depicting, like, a huge religious, like scene, and at the center of it, as if it's their god, is like a figure like the xenomorphs. Ooh, scary. Ooh. Well, the problem with this is that part of the I guess, like, pitch of Prometheus is that evil robot man, David... Michael Fassbender, honestly, it's Michael Fassbender. Michael Fassbender makes the xenomorphs, the actual aliens that we see in Alien. And the problem with that is the timeline doesn't quite add up with all the different things that we've seen, especially with this mural already depicting the xenomorph. So where does it come from? Why is that a thing that was pitched with that? Well, that black goo doesn't come from nowhere. That black goo comes from crunching up some xenomorphs. And so in Alien Romulus, they just have like tanks of this black goo. And they have all these facehuggers that they have like flash frozen in this ship that they were experimenting on. And then obviously they all get free and everything goes horribly wrong. Pitch of Alien Romulus. Including one pregnant woman getting injected with the anti-pathogen. The stuff that's supposed to cure you from being turned into goo from the pathogen. And that made her give birth to a giant spindly, honestly, like an Eastern European basketball player who sucked the life out of her through her tits. Alien Romulus is wild as hell, but it looks really fucking cool. But
it was like a weirder version of the Alien Resurrection Alien.
So
like a weird hybrid thingy.
So this thing looks more like an engineer that doesn't have any of like the musculature. It looks like it's like starving to death.
Just a Slenderman.
And skeleton. Yeah, it's a Slenderman.
Okay.
And instead of having like the alien, the sub jaw that shoots out, he has like a horrible like leech-like tentacle tongue.
Oh man.
And that latches right onto her breast and it breastfeeds on its quote unquote mother to death.
Oh man.
And then they throw that shit out into space, into the rings of a planet, and it gets torn up by space traffic. Anyway.
As you do.
yeah, that's the way to start a movie.
Anyway, I did like a huge deep dive on the lore of all the xenomorph stuff, and one of the things that always really bothered me is, like, Michael Fassbender can't invent the aliens. Part of him inventing the aliens is being inspired to invent the aliens by seeing the aliens. So how can Michael Fassbender invent the xenomorph? Is there time travel involved? Weyland-Yutani gets bought out by Walmart at a certain point, so I'm pretty sure no. So, turns out, one of the things that, like, keeps happening in this setting, and, like, they try to, like, fix it out of the android brains. The Weyland Corporation invented human androids. Like, that's why we have the milky-blooded Michael Fassbenders of the world. And one thing that keeps happening, and they can't fucking fix it, is every time they see the xenomorphs, they fall in love with it. It's the coolest thing. The androids and the xenomorphs have a special bond. What could it mean? Me personally, I think it means that they're both, like, reaching the same conclusion of, like, being, like, a living machine.
Yeah, that's a biomech, right?
Yeah, because the xenomorphs are biomechanical. They literally, like, when they burst out of your chest, they absorb, like, a bunch of the minerals and stuff in your body and then, like, eat a bunch of your meat to, like, convert into their meat. But, like, that's why they have, like, metal teeth. They're literally made of metal in a lot of places.
Oh, wow.
The reason that they're black is because you can grind them up into this horrible goo. But other than that, fucking, they're machines. Living machines. And the androids are just, they have some sort of special connection to them. Even the off-brand ones that they're like, we heard that last time David went out of control. So we made David too. We named him, I think his name's like Walter or something. He's also Michael Fassbender.
Oh, yeah.
And it turns out that getting rid of his, like, emotions just made him, like, I guess worse at robot karate, because Michael Fassbender kicks his ass with one arm. His own ass, I guess. David wins. Walter gets fucked. Anyway, so they become obsessed with them, and that's part of the reason I'm sure is because Weyland-Yutani wants these fucking aliens. They're really fucking interested in them. But always, even if they have, like, nothing to do with it, even if it's like, yeah, I'm just a random android, in, like, Alien Romulus, there's a random android that, like, he got thrown away, and the parents of the main character like fixed him up, and they made him like a nanny / best friend to the girl who's the main character. And even him, without any of the Weyland-Yutani pieces like that would tell him to like, incubate aliens in people and steal them for the company, even he's like, now hold on, these aliens, they might be valuable for research.
Man. He's infected.
Thankfully, his own love for his child / best friend, ward, whatever, wins out in the end, but it's just in there. Okay. The robots inevitably are like, maybe the aliens are cool guys.
It's the universal truth.
Yeah. But I think that particularly the engineers... So in Prometheus, a big thing that happened is David, the Michael Fassbender, wants to meet the engineers because he was made by humans and he doesn't like that they made him for a purpose, and that purpose was kind of bullshit. He wants a higher purpose, and he wants the same thing for humanity. He wants them to meet their creator, to realize that their purpose is also bullshit, possibly so that he can prove that he's better than them by like moving on with his life and becoming a greater thing. Who can say? The workings of Michael Fassbender are a mystery. But when he meets the actual engineer, he starts speaking to it in its own language because he was able to like decode it through like through exploring the ship with his Michael Fassbender robot mind. And he's the only one who speaks to it. So when the engineer sees all the humans in the room and they're talking in their dumb monkey language, he's just looking at them kind of confused because they woke him up and he doesn't know how they did that. And then one of these dumb monkeys comes up and it starts talking to him in what, like, his own language. And he, like, reaches down and he's like, look at it. It's like a little me. It's so good. And then he touches David's head. And then you see, like, the engineer's face is like, oh, it's a fucking robot. And he tears David's head right off. And he's like, nope, I knew it. Because the whole Prometheus, like, the reason those engineers were on that planet is that they were flying to Earth to bomb us because... I mean, technically, one of the script reasons was because Jesus. The engineers came, kidnapped Jesus, taught him all about peace and love and harmony and not using advanced machines because advanced machines lead to evil. And then they gave Jesus back, and we killed him immediately.
Damn.
So the engineers were all pissed off, and they're flying back to their planet, and they're like, get all the goo you can, we're starting over.
My lovely listeners, if I'm quiet, it's because I'm enthralled with what he's telling me. What the fuck? I had no idea. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Carry on.
So for a moment, you could
see...
see...
That's specifically what ruined the movie for Rob.
Oh, yeah.
Was that the implication that they made Jesus? He was just like, I was on board until that. He's
yeah,
like,
that's... I didn't know that at all. That's fucking... That's something.
I'm of the opinion that the text is only what is present in the work. So there's no implication in that film that Jesus is even a thing that, like, matters beyond one character is religious.
Okay, yeah. And interpretation.
So if it's not in the text, if it's not in the movie, it's not real.
Yeah.
People change their mind about shit all the time like that.
Yeah, true. You can recontextualize
lightsabers used to weigh 80 pounds. That was like George Lucas's official thing. You can only use a lightsaber two-handed because it weighs so much.
Huh.
I don't think that lasted for very long, because by the final movie of the original trilogy, Luke and Vader fight one-handed at one point.
Yeah.
By force, technically. That's a double pun right there.
Oh, man.
Both the force and cutting off a hand.
Yeah, I thought you meant by the force. Yeah,
the worst.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Anyway.
Boobus, man.
If it's not in the text, it's not real, is my opinion. So that's not really in the movie. What's definitely in the movie is that they were disappointed in humanity for using complex machines. They didn't care for that shit at all. Tearing off David's head.
But what are we to do without goo?
The goo.
So literally, the pitch was you were supposed to learn how to live in harmony with your planet, and eventually, goo or not, because they didn't have goo to start with, you'll get advanced enough by just, like, I guess breeding giant eagles or something to fly with. And, like, just through peace and love, you're supposed to get to a certain level of advancement. Then the engineers come back. By the way, we were supposed to reach that level of advancement 2,000 years ago, because that's when Jesus happened. Then they come back, they're like, good, you're good sons. Now have some goo and join us in the galaxy. And then we'd be off on our next adventure. But then we fucked it all up by killing Jesus and making alarm clocks.
Those damn clocks. They
Yeah.
did it all.
Anyway.
I met an engineer. It'd have to be like, that's a hard pitch, my man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, well.
have you seen anime?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, come on, man.
Well, if he was tearing off robot heads before, I don't know what you think anime is going to do to him.
Yeah.
The corruption runs too deep.
I swear.
Glass
Yeah,
the
that-
Milky Way.
That'd be the final nail in the coffin.
I once heard, and this is anime related, that lilies are just Lovecraftian horrors meant to destroy humanity from within.
Yeah.
And yeah, that gives credence to that. I ship that.
Which anime even flipped that on its head with
Yariko-chan?
Oh my god, it did! I forgot about Kawaii Cthulhu-chan.
That was like 10 years ago.
Or Kawaii Elder God-chan.
We're getting so fucking old because I still think of that as like a relatively recent anime. There are so many things that I'm like, that's pretty recent. No, man. That was the beginning. People consider that history. Not even like, oh, that's older than you think. No, that was formative to an artistic movement which has come and gone.
You know, I think his name is Giguk on YouTube.
Yeah.
He's one of the YouTubers.
Mm-hmm.
He has a whole video about the Moe Revolution.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we witnessed that. I remember watching Clenad when it first came out and thinking, wait, is this like Seinfeld but for cuteness? It's a show about nothing, but it's just they're living their lives. What is this? Because slice of life wasn't really a genre until then.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but lose yourself in those giant ass eyes, my man.
Yeah, dude, it was
So,
like looking to do a fucking...
Speaking of anime being compared to like Western
Yeah.
like things, there's a manga that I really, really like. It's getting an anime soon called Dandadan. Dandadan's really good, but I haven't really been able to explain it to anybody without them thinking like, oh wow, Kevin likes some weird fucking things and we need to
I
keep an
remember
eye
when
on
you
it.
first told me about Dandadan, I was almost
sounds like a
mad.
problem.
I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because
Yeah.
he reads basically anything.
Yeah.
And he'll tell me about it when we go driving sometimes. And
Right.
a lot of times I'm just like, dude, why the fuck are you reading this? Use your time better. Like, what are you doing?
And it's curiosity generally.
Well, but that's what makes you a wizard.
Yeah.
Is like, you're like, you have to know how
must
far
know.
you can go.
Yeah. We have to delve into the
But
forbidden knowledge, Tony.
Yeah, that's...
How else can I tell the world about the world's greatest author, Chuck Tingle? Deep cut. Anyone listening?
Oh, fuck.
Any other
Chuck
Tingle fans out there?
All right, well, you know what? That's going on the board. Tingleverse. Yep.
We gotta go into a deep dive about that one in a second.
Well, I'm the only one, and I've only read a couple. There's
We'll
something
enlighten us
else.
shortly.
But so Dandadan, the way that it was, I saw it described is that it's regular show in Japan, because what it is they do the main characters, this boy and this girl, really more the girl. I really like the girl; she's way better main character. But she and he go to do something ordinary, and then the wildest shit even possible happens. The start of it is that they're both sort of nerds for like different aspects of like the supernatural, because the boy gets like bullied because he's a UFO nerd. He really UAP for all you actual people who give a shit. But like he's super into like extraterrestrial life and like the concepts of like all the conspiracy theories about them and like how we've already had this contact, ancient alien stuff. And then her family were shamans in Japan. Ironically, actually wizards, turns out. But like she believes in ghosts, and so she tries to make friends with him because she heard that he's getting bullied for liking the supernatural. And then immediately they find out that they like a different side of the same fucking thing, where it's supernatural stuff. Oh, you like aliens? What a fucking nerd! And he's like, you believe in ghosts? What a dumb asshole! Like, absolutely, immediately. And then they make a quick bet, which is, I bet you your thing isn't real, and to prove it, I'll send you to a place where my thing is real, and you're going to admit that my thing's real and your thing's fake. Because they're both going to go to a place. She gets sent to a place where there's a lot of abductions. He goes to a place where there's supposedly a lot of ghosts. And they're both going to call each other, and they're going to be like, nah, your thing's not real, my thing's real. Anyway, there are ghosts and aliens there, and they take them.
Oh, man. They just steal their asses?
She gets abducted by aliens. a ghost tries to possess him, and the only reason they get out of it is because, turns out, just like in regular show, electricity is magical.
I love this.
Because he calls her on his cell phone, and then he, possessed by the ghost, travel through the phone onto the alien ship, and then the ghost helps them beat up the aliens because the ghost wants to get out of the alien ship. And the aliens, turns out, the reason that they haven't like made a full-scale invasion of Earth, we're the only planet in the galaxy with all these fucking ghosts on it.
Oh, man.
Yeah. We have like an invisible line of defense, which is that we keep haunting ourselves.
Huh.
Yeah, because they have...
Pretty good move when you think about it.
Yeah!
It stops aliens.
Unfortunately, it makes the aliens think that they have to do things like anal probes and removing your genitalia because they don't understand the concepts of humanity. Anyway, it gets wild as shit, and I sort of like stopped expecting certain things to happen because I started engaging with other worse content. Dandadan is like really good. Always, every chapter has like a solid crescendo to like, oh, well, I want to read the next chapter now. And that's one of the best things that you can have in like a serial format. And at the end of the last thing, they had to fight a Jumanji. Evil board game. And
evil board game, dude. What a foe.
Main girl comes out of the Jumanji, and she is shrunk. She's like she's like a little tiny, like, Polly Pocket-sized person now. And they're like, well, what the fuck do we do about that? And they're like, well, I don't know. I guess we're going to have to, like, research it. So she and the boy main character go to the library, and they're, like, looking up stuff about fairies or whatnot. And because, of course, they would, in the library, there's a little fucking guy in there peeking around the corner at her.
Naturally.
Of course. And he's got, like, a little gnome hat. Of course.
Of course, of course.
They make it's exactly regular show in Japan.
I love this.
The only difference is that they have that Dandadan. I need to learn their name because I really respect this author's ability. Because every time that like it comes to the crescendo of like, oh my god, now everything's finally coming together, every single time it has the exact same like level of like adrenaline and dopamine in my brain as like the best Chekhov's gun moments. Like the episode of South Park where Al Qaeda comes to like blow up all the people from New Jersey.
Give them hell, Al Qaeda!
It's Al Qaeda! Give them hell, Al Qaeda! Or the tip assist from South Park.
Tip assist is the best Chekhov's gun of all time.
Well,
I will 100% rep this, man.
Because
Because no one saw it coming. They told us. We thought it was a throwaway bit. No, it wasn't.
Every arc does that like 2 or 3 times,
Hell
and it
yeah.
hits every time. Because it's never the same. It's always something that they told you could happen, but also you didn't think it would, or if it would, why would it be important? And then we have a Gundam made out of houses fighting a Godzilla, which is actually a mascot costume housing an alien intelligence.
Don't you know? That's fucking absurd. I like it. I mean, it sounds fun.
Dandadan's a lot of fun. Alien, also a lot of fun. I forgot we were supposed to be talking about that.
I wasn't sure if you were done or not, but like, yeah, okay.
I was also reading some of the comics. There's the Winter Xenomorphs, which is actual Yeti Xenomorphs,
Oh, man.
which is very funny to me, and they hate the black ones.
Oh, man.
So there are white Xenomorphs that have fur that are always at war with the black Xenomorphs whenever they show up.
Oh, man. What did Ridley Scott mean by this?
What could they have possibly meant by this?
I don't think we can blame him for that one.
No,
hopefully.
I don't think he was involved
That's
in these
like-
comics. I don't think he understands what comics are.
This is the equivalent of that fucking guy who made Miles Morales Thor. And
Oh my
whiffed.
goodness.
Yeah,
So hard.
yeah.
That was a problem.
Yeah, that,
Which, are the Predators officially in
So,
the same universe, or is that just a side thing?
so technically speaking, all the Alien versus Predator stuff is not canon in that the content does not happen. However, there is no position taken on whether or not predators are a thing in this universe. Now, the reason that I'm couching this as such is because they call it the xenomorph because it's a specific thing. In Alien, they call it an alien, and it's like, oh my god, there are aliens here. But they don't make really mention of, like, this is first contact, do they? No, they don't.
Oh.
Because in this setting, there are fucking aliens. In fact, Mars is populated by an alien species that some company, probably Weyland-Yutani, found in space, manipulated genetically, and then dropped onto Mars to, like, let's see if we can make Mars cooler by adding these giant tentacle tigers.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, turns out, bunch of aliens in Alien.
Okay.
Tons of them.
Interesting.
Very few friendly.
I mean, yeah, we know with the Predators, so like that's already kind of establishes that there's more than one.
Technically speaking, we don't know if the Predators are part of the Alien universe.
Oh.
They, quote unquote, aren't because they are owned by somebody else. But they fit in the setting, and all of their stories also fit in the setting because Weyland-Yutani is founded by a guy named Weyland, who in Prometheus you see him and his son Michael Fassbender. And then he gets real old, and they put very not convincing makeup on him to turn him old. And then he meets an engineer, and then he dies. And that's Weyland, who started the Weyland Corporation. Where does the Yutani come in? Well, you remember Alien vs. Predator? At the end, only that one girl lives?
Yeah.
I mean, her name is Yutani.
I never picked that up.
And then...
I never picked that up.
And she gets a piece of Predator technology, the spear.
Yeah.
And then now she has advanced technology to start a corporation.
I never picked that up.
Yeah.
See, because someone told me the AVP movies weren't canon, and that really, like, miffed me, because I was like, they're so sick. Like,
they are sick, and they're not canon.
Yeah.
But aren't they?
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, that, I buy that, but whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, Weyland-Yutani becomes this huge mega corporation because they invented the androids and evidently collapsible spears from Predators and shit. And then we go 400 years in the future after all three of the original Alien movies, and then we have Alien Resurrection, which is 465 years in the future. I think. Sounded very, very specific, and now I lost all confidence in it because I don't remember things. Doesn't matter. 400 odd years in the future, Weyland-Yutani, they got bought out by Walmart. That's part of the start of the movie, is that we've been cloning Ripley from the original Alien movies, and it's been fucking up, but we finally made one good Ripley, and now we're going to introduce her to all the other aliens that we've been cloning, because, by the way, we've been doing that. It's the one thing that you've always said, don't fucking do. Well, we got the aliens, and we've been cloning them, and, yeah, we're Walmart now.
That's funny.
And then, like, a couple hundred years after that, Weyland-Yutani comes back, because at the current end of the timeline, like, the last thing that happens in the timeline of Alien is we have all these colonists out there in the universe, and space is fucking big. So you can't leave your little corner once you get there.
Yeah.
And if you end up in a place that's like, say, a mining colony, and you've already exported all the good shit, and the company then would have the responsibility of bringing all the people back, well, they might fucking not, might they?
Yeah.
So, like, the last thing that happens is this guy who was, like, abandoned by Weyland-Yutani is, like, now, like, a forcible colonist. And, there's still aliens out there, and they've taken over certain planets, because once they get on that planet, they're endemic almost immediately.
Yeah, sounds right.
They're a real fucking problem. And I believe that this is the point that we have, like, the goddess actually exists. By the way, there's an alien goddess, a character above the queen.
Oh, man.
Which I'm pretty sure is this one colonist lady who got injected with the evil goo, the pathogen. And then she just started mutating, all of her skin came off. And she got claws and super strength and acid blood and all the shit. And the aliens just started following her around like she was the lead raptor in the Jurassic World movies, where they're like, yeah, follow her, she knows what she's doing. And then by the end of it, like, she looks like... Did you ever see the Species films?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Well, it's basically softcore porn that they made sci-fi flavored to try to get a movie made, and they're very bad. Anyway, point being, she looks like a weird chitinous hot chick now. And that's potentially the goddess, because if you survive like a chest burster...
She's the dessert.
Yeah, she's carrying it, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. If you survive a chest burster, which, by the way, there's like a bunch of people who survive it. Not by like surviving it regularly. That typically kills you. Because it, like, the way that the chest burster actually forms is... The actual impregnation that the facehugger does is it puts a little bit of something in you, and then the rest of what it puts in you is just mutagenic chemicals to let your organs and body mutate into the alien.
Brutal.
So you're missing organs after it leaves you.
Yeah, I noticed that, it's taken some shit. I thought I guess they ate them, but yeah, that's...
No, it's more mutacious than that.
Brutal.
Anyway, people can survive it relatively easily because this is the space future. So long as you have like one of your surgery pods, you're pretty good. And that's how Weyland-Yutani got their first alien, and then they didn't get a lot of fucking aliens after that. Turns out, for the biggest corporation in the universe, not very good at making sure that they get a hold of these fucking aliens. But yeah, you can just like surgically remove them, and then if you do that, for the rest of your life, you are forever just like... When you dream of the woman in the dark, and she's looking for you because you were supposed to be with her now.
I love how the curse of surviving the chest burster is now you have to live with the Hat Man.
Yeah, you get Benadryl nightmares all the time now.
It's really good. Fuck, that sounds terrifying.
And evidently, because like one of the characters who like survives this, it's so terrible to live with the Hat Man like existence that like he considers not saving his son who got like put a chest burster put in him.
Oh, man.
Because he's like, well, I mean, he either dies, which is sad, and now there's an alien around here, or I save him, and now there's an alien around here, and he's tortured forever like I am. He ends up saving his son. But like, I really like how the alien lore has come together, at least in my head, for like justifying itself in ways that like we were led to believe otherwise. Like the idea that David was supposed to make the aliens or the xenomorphs, but how could he do that if he was working off of the reference of looking at the xenomorphs? And then as you like read into this, like every new movie they come up with a new design for the xenomorphs, even if it's not like in the third Aliens, they like, oh, it was an ox that got impregnated by one of the facehuggers, so now the alien that comes out is on 4 legs and it's really fast.
Brutal.
And it's broken free on prison world. What will we do? Pretty cool. But even in Alien, there was the original xenomorph, and then in Aliens, the new xenomorphs had new designs that were like slightly different. And then in the fourth Aliens, the aliens are slightly different. These ones are specifically mutants, but like they're all slightly different. And it's because they're all from different strains. Because it turns out if you're willy fucking nilly with the evil black goo, it leads to xenomorphs. If you let it get too out of control, you just let enough generations iterate off of being mutated by the fucking goo. If you're not controlling it, it turns into the xenomorphs.
Gene stealers.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So they have the different strains, or the one that David actually produced is called the Prometheus strain because it originated from Prometheus. And then there's the Icarus strain and the Alpha strain and the whatever the hell strain.
The Yeti strain.
The Winter Beasts, as they're called.
Brutal.
Okay.
Anyway, I just did a big deep dive on it. I think you guys... Anyone listening should also do the same because Alien is so fucking cool. I really love creature designs to begin with. And,
Did you ever hear the story that the guy who originally designed the xenomorph was taken
off Geiger?
Of his... So he was in an airport with the drawing, and security pulled him aside and were like, dude, what the fuck is this? Are you okay? And he was like, oh yeah, I'm doing something for a movie. And they're like, what fucking movie, man? So I thought
sounds like we need to investigate that movie.
Yeah.
Reach out, Geiger. This is what I do. Okay.
I forget what country it was.
I put penises on monsters, and then I turn them into architecture, and then I get paid by...
That was his whole thing, though, is that he just made weird shit.
Weird
Yeah.
psychosexual horror
That's why they picked him,
things.
is because he's just a creepy artist, man.
And he nailed it.
Yeah, he fucking knocked it out of the park, man. Swung with the fences.
Yeah.
I know it's Geiger.
Yeah, it's
right,
Geiger.
But I don't...
It's H.R. Geiger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, yeah, I heard that story, and I was like, that totally checks out, man. Like, especially when you should at the time it was made.
Oh, yeah.
Like...
We don't have terrorists like we will after 2001. By the way, don't worry about all that. But still, we got to take a look at these. These drawings are a problem.
Yeah, man.
Mr. Geiger.
You know, it's kind of the reverse happened with Predator. Because you guys ever seen what the original design for the Predator was?
No.
Goofy as hell.
Bad.
Oh, dude, really?
It was like a weird red lobster
He was
thing.
he was supposed to be more mantis-like.
And it was...
To which the costume designer is like, well, the problem with that is that it's going on a guy. So it needs to be the thickness of a guy.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we'll do it. And that leads to a weird lobster man.
Yeah, so you can find clips of that where they originally shot with that suit, and it looks horrible.
Yeah.
And then some artist guy just like got in contact with one of the producers or something, and then he had just had like sketches of like creepy alien shit, and one of them was the Predator face, like with its like four mandible mouth horrible shit. And the guy was just like, that. Let's make it that.
Okay.
That looks awesome.
Okay.
Give it these sick dreadlocks and shit.
Because, yeah, they are fucking sick.
And then they switched it to that, and it was fucking badass. You know?
Yeah, one of my favorite scenes in a movie is at the end of Predator where, like, Arnold's, like, creeping up on him like, I got you, son of a bitch. And then he just goes to his little wrist unit, clicks a few buttons, and just starts laughing. That fucking laugh. That was, like, the first evil laugh that, like struck me. I was like, dude, this is so fucking sinister.
I really liked Predator because the worst thing they could have done is let it talk.
Yeah.
And they knew that. Mm-hmm. Once it talks, it's people.
And that's why you get the human connection by his evil laugh of like, oh, you think you've won. Look at what you've won. Here's your prize, dipshit.
Yep. Just using the recorded voices of people.
Yeah.
And it's great. Fantastic. And then in the second Predator, when it's in, like, I think it's New York.
Yeah.
Where it's using all of the different things that people have said because it's been stalking people in, like, Central Park and shit. Ah, great. I just love these sci-fi movies. I love creatures.
We haven't had, I feel like there's a distinct lack of good sci-fi in Hollywood these days. I mean, I guess not anymore because of Dune, but
Dune was pretty spectacular.
the Star Wars is like, it's space cowboys.
Oh my goodness.
Because they missed the fucking point nowadays.
Yeah, they do. They missed the point.
Because back in the day, you had to be creative with your effects because you didn't have CGI.
Yeah.
And so they had to be creative. And it was just like, that's part of what made it really good. It was just like figuring out how do we make this convincing, which cool little, whether or not, are predators in the alien universe, are aliens in the predator universe. Like that's a little Easter egg in the second one. There's a xenomorph skull when they go inside the ship on the trophy wall.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I just remembered, before I did the deep dive about Alien, I thought, oh, I'll do Dune because I really like that.
Buckle up.
But specifically, a YouTuber that I was listening to just put out like a 6-7 hour long video
It has to be
detailing the history of the Dune universe from where it diverges with regular history to like the end of the timeline. And I was like, oh, that'll be cool. And then like 2 minutes in, we're talking about the Titans, and then it's like, and then Clelox of Telendok, a radical thinker machine, and I'm like, nope, turn it off. His army of Cymex, and I'm like, God damn it! What kind of... This is what South Park is making fun of.
Yeah.
When they're doing like all of the Scientology nonsense, they're just... This is the bit. Herbert, you taught your son wrong. You got to teach your kids better if you're going to be a writer, and then possibly let your children steal your legacy.
Well, see, like, because I haven't read any of the Brian Herbert stuff, because I don't think it counts. No offense, Mr. Herbert.
High offense.
But, I don't know. Like, that core set of books is fucking bizarre enough on its own.
It really is. The psychic sex battles are just like, come on, man, what are you doing here?
Klendok with his Simek lieutenants, Xerxes and Barbatos.
Well, see, that's like, we don't know a damn thing about the Butlerian Jihad from the original run.
Right.
It's just like, yeah, that happened.
I mean,
that's why I had no thinking machine.
It's specifically named after not a thing that happened in the setting. There's no butler in the setting that like caused the Butlerian Jihad. It's named after a different sci-fi author who was like, you know what's gonna fuck us all up? Thinking machines. And then just that author saying those words, like, Herbert's like, yeah, that's just what happened.
Okay, yeah, because that actually makes a lot of sense, because then, like, in context of the Dune universe, like, Earth as it was, that was a thing. Like,
yeah.
So, you know, like, Frank Herbert the man would have existed, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Probably didn't write Dune in Dune, but, because, like, there's moments when...
no one would publish his Lawrence of Arabia fan fiction, so he turned to the Titans and the Cymex.
Leto II has all the memories of fucking everyone, like, you know, basically. And so there's, like, points where he's just, like, chilling by himself, and then he's, like, reliving being, like, Johann Sebastian Bach, like, and just, like swaying to meet the music and shit, like, before he gets, like, interrupted and has to, like, do Worm Hitler shit.
Dude, what a fucking weird-ass movie. But it gave us Warhammer 40,000, so we can't be too mad.
Well, core aspects of it. There's some other things they just kind of glossed over.
Yeah, well, good.
You didn't get
Warhammer's sick nasty and Dune gets kind of weird.
You didn't get to the futars, did you?
Oh, man.
No, I turned it off right after the word Cymek got said like 5 times. And I'm like, oh, because they're like fully mechanical, but they're also, they start as cyborgs, and they're called Cymex, and that doesn't sound like Stargate aliens at all.
Well...
Actually, it doesn't. Stargate would pick a better name than Cymex.
Have you not lived until you learned about the genetically made catmen used to hunt Bene Gesserit?
Yep.
Because, sure.
I remember Stargate being so campy and lighthearted and just fancy.
Stargate.
I love Stargate.
Stargate's
SG-1. I never got into Atlantis, but...
Yeah, no, Atlantis was cool. It was a little more badass and gritty. And then they did, I think, Stargate Universe was the third one that was like super gritty and dramatic, and I just didn't like it. It missed the point of Stargate.
So Stargate Atlantis
canceled real quick.
Had one episode that lives in my head forever because I really loved the entire conceit of it is spectacular, which is they don't have Stargates as like solid, like attached to the ground things anymore, like by necessity. There are Stargates that they make like a little flying thing that you fly up into the atmosphere and then you go into that Stargate and then you can come out. Well, the problem is that it needs to hold the gate. The gate can't just be a circle floating through space. It needs like Naquita and all the shit that like actually makes the science function for it to work. So really, it's like a little tube. One end is capped off with just like the thrusters and shit, and the other end is where the Stargate opens up. But the episode was they flew through and the timing was off, and they got stuck behind the Stargate in the fucking tube that holds the Stargate up.
It is pretty cool.
And if they turn off the Stargate, it will cut the ship in half. If they can't move because it's like lodged in there. If they walk through it, they'll still be on their ship, but they'll be in a different location, and they're losing oxygen through that. So they have like there's a real ticking clock aspect of it here. And then one of the other options is, why don't we turn it off and turn it back on again? Well, every time the Stargate turns off and back on, there's that fun splash effect that's super cool, which obliterates everything that touches it.
Yeah.
So if they turn it off and turn it back on again, it's the same as erasing them from existence. And they eventually get out of it, obviously, because it's, it's a sci-fi show that...
Reset to zero.
Yeah, we reset to zero at the end of episodes. But that episode is like a great bottleneck character episode that is enforced by like, yeah, you all thought it would be a cool idea to put the Stargate in space, right? Here's where that can go. It's building off of the core of Stargate while moving into just like a character like introspective direction. I really liked it. That episode lives in my head forever.
So, speaking of good sci-fi, And speaking of robots and Cymex.
Yeah, the Cymex, yeah.
Fucking Reploids. Mega Man X is such a special IP to me. Like, I feel like no other fucking IP nailed androids by also not calling them androids.
Tony.
Yeah?
Are you aware of what's going to come out soon?
No, what's happening?
So Amazon bought a bunch of properties, and they're making like a series of one-shot things about video games. Each video game gets its own episode of a TV show, basically.
Okay.
And one of them is Mega Man.
Oh, Mega Man or Mega Man X?
Mega Man.
Shout out to fucking
Okay,
Fallout.
well, that's fine. I'll take it.
But it's
I'll take it.
a high-budget, like,
yeah.
actual thing that's serious, taken at the very least.
Okay. That might plant some seeds. We're hopefully we're in for a treat. Hopefully we don't fucking.
Hopefully we're in for a treat. Yeah.
They might drop the ball, but that is exciting for sure.
Well, after Fallout, it seems that Amazon can make good video game shows.
Oh yeah.
But established fantasy IPs, we're gonna fuck those up.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new season of Rings of Power?
No, why would I? Why would I do that? I hate watched the first season, and then after that, I was like, nope, I'm good.
My mom loves it, but she doesn't. She can't quite follow it too much. She keeps rewatching it to like be able to pick up what's going on. And so I only seen bits and pieces of it. I never got into Lord of the Rings or that entire universe as much as like all my buddies, like you and Rob and all. You know, my sister even. Like I never got into it like that. I just enjoyed the films. I didn't watch the Hobbit ones, and then I liked the miniatures game. But yeah, so I do giggle every time you express your ire with how they, I guess, ruin the Silmarillion, whatever it's called.
Silmarillion. Because it's the show is basically like fucking. We have this wealth of source material,
but we're not allowed to use it.
Let's tear it the fuck up and then just make up our own shit.
Well, the problem is they're not allowed to use the source material. The actual material owned by the Tolkien estate said no one's allowed to make anything out of the Silmarillion or any of these other things. And Amazon was like, well, what do we have access to? Well, we have access to the IP of the original pitch, which was given to them a long time ago. So that has some information. What else can we buy? And so they were like, well, who owns the video game rights? And, well, these other people do. Well, can we buy the rights to make the show off of the lore, off of the video game, off of the original lore, plus anything else we make up? And they're like, well, we can try.
Is that what happened?
So
yeah.
That's when you just stop. And
yeah.
It's like, well, this is a bad idea. But no, apparently people watch it, so, you know.
Yeah.
If you're like me and you don't know any better, that would be fun. But
yeah, if you don't actually care about the IP, I'm sure you can enjoy the fuck out of it.
Yeah, I don't give a flying fuck, brother.
Don't you eat that.
What's he eating? Your bottle?
My bottle. So I have a metal water bottle, if you're listening. That might be the little rattles that you might be able to hear. And it has a paracord handle because it's sold as a survival bottle, which is odd. Because this is not like... It's a bottle.
It's pretty chungus, yeah.
It's hardly like something that you'd be able to like keep with you in like a container besides itself. It's the size of my thigh. Anyway, it has a paracord handle and rabbits love to bite it.
Oh yeah.
So he's been just testing when I'll stop him this whole time.
Yeah, that sounds weird. How's Connie been?
She has also been checking it out.
Yeah, I bet, dude. So they chew on the fucking wall. And I hate it. I hate it. I feel like I'm going to die of lead poisoning because of the paint, but my mom said there's no paint, lead in there, but I still...
Oh, no. This house was made well after lead paint was
I
made
just don't want them to chew on the fucking wall. And she's so encouraged. I had to spray it with, I sprayed it with air... I couldn't find my bitterant, so I ended up spraying it with air freshener, just so it's an overwhelming
non-toxic,
smell,
yeah.
And it's non-toxic, and it's going to taste like shit.
Yeah.
So far, it's been working, but yeah, little Connie just loves chewing on walls like a dumbass.
Yeah.
That's a very baby brain thing to do. Listeners, I recently got a new rabbit. Their name is Little Connie.
She
is Constance.
Incredible.
And she is a Holland Lop of... she's black with a white paws and a little white stripe like a mohawk on her head. It's kind of cute. It's not poofy out like a mohawk, but it's a little like...
Just a little marking.
Yeah, a little more kind of white, and then she has the big old floppy ears and gorgeous blue eyes.
And she jumps way better than I've seen Amadeus do.
And don't you know, she has pedigree. She's kind of a big deal.
Oh.
Yeah, her mother was named Frostine. That's where she got her beautiful eyes from.
Oh.
And I have like a whole like chart of pedigree. It's like I've never like had a pet like that before. Amadeus is literally a street rat.
Yeah.
We found him on the side of the road.
He was found being eaten by actually like things that he should have been preying upon.
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't eat they don't eat flies, I don't think.
They don't?
No.
I thought they eat insects like opportunistically.
You know what, they might. I just don't know if they
This
do.
might be me just trying to be funny then.
Yeah, but
Don't worry about it. He was from the
street.
streets.
Yeah, he had 2 fly strikes when we found them. Yeah, he was not doing okay. We're pretty sure he was abandoned.
Oh yeah. He's a big white rabbit and you don't typically see those in the...
Yeah, there's a whole epidemic of, like, I think in Las Vegas and a few other places of a whole bunch of indoor rabbits being abandoned, and now they're just wild. There's just a semi-feral running of rabbits in a whole bunch of cities now.
That's hilarious.
Isn't that hilarious? Yeah, you think
I mean, that's terrible. I don't
yeah.
like that existing in reality, but in concept, if you're walking down the Las Vegas Strip and it's just lousy with these bunnies.
Yeah, they're just flopping around being flopdoodles.
You look at them and you're like, oh, so cute. And then it runs away and fucks up a trash can or something. It's like if raccoons were just like like they had no predator part of them.
Because, like, rabbits can eat a lot of shit. So, like, as long as they're not getting eaten by something else, and it's Vegas. Like, there's not a whole bunch of...
There's no indigenous predators to Las Vegas for rabbits. Only for humans.
There's lawn grass they get eating dandelions and shit. They love dandelions. They can't get enough of that shit.
I think the rabbits that are abandoned and living on the Las Vegas Strip are living in what is the equivalent of the rabbit cyberpunk future.
That fucking song starts playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck. That's...
It's all asphalt out here. There's no grass.
Oh my god, dude. That's... Oh, so speaking of cyber...
Shit down, except they start saying chew.
So, speaking of cyberpunk, don't you have a pitch for a cyberpunk one-shot you want to share with us, Kevin?
Oh, yeah. So this is something that I'd actually really like to play. Unfortunately, the cyberpunk actual game system... Stop eating the...
Yeah,
all right, I have to put up my water bottle.
Amadeus is incorrigible.
Amadeus has now learned that he can fully grab hold of that. No longer does he need to test it. Anyway, one shot. Unfortunately, the cyberpunk rule system is a little obtuse for my small brains, so I don't know if I'll ever be able to run it up through that. So the pitch is, I found out that in order to maintain copyright, the Disney Corporation owns all of the pornography of all of the characters that they own. So, like, if you drew a picture of Beauty and the Beast, Belle getting screwed by the Beast, and posted it online, they not only saved it, they printed it out.
Are they eating you now, too?
They are eating me. They're teaming up.
Oh, man, like piranha. I created a monster.
I don't know. Do I taste good to rabbits? Am I more plant than man?
Oh, man. He's like Vash the Stampede.
Anyway, so they not only save whatever pornography of their characters exists, but they print it out and they put it into a giant vault.
Yeah.
So that they can, like, prove that they know about it, they have it, and they own that character. Well, part of the cyberpunk, like, setting is that the old internet got taken over by advanced malicious AI, the demons. That just, they basically cut it off. We can't go into the old internet anymore. We have to make a new internet, and the new internet is crappy because it's corpo. It's only for, like, corpo communications. It's not for, like, people to post pornography on. So the premise of the one-shot is that it's Night City. You are 200 miles north of the Disney Anaheim headquarters. All the porn is gone. You and a team of the most dangerous perverts in Night City are going to make the trek 200 miles through the wastelands into a massive Disney former corpo fortress Disney was destroyed during the Corpo Wars, now defended by the independent animatronics created by the former Imagineers. You're breaking into the Disney porn vault. Are you a bad enough dude?
I love that so much. And the meme of George Costanza with the laser katana, that's definitely a character. 100% playing that.
You're gonna definitely need to bring Baltimore Airport for this one.
Oh yeah.
Let's stock up on the Tums too. Fuck. They literally do weird sex stuff up there.
They do.
That's literally what the plot is.
I'm also imagining these animatronics, just like the horror of having Goofy come at you.
Yeah.
Gosh, you're not supposed
no.
to be here.
No.
As he's firing up Gatling guns or something.
It's like if Five Nights at Freddy's was also owned by Disney, but this new wave of people who are realizing that you can make things with public domain characters, and they're just put machine guns on them.
Yeah, imagine Donald Duck with a machine gun, and he's quackling as he's mowing down your friends.
I told you Donald Duck is the most powerful magic user in the Square Enix.
I hate that, dude.
IP,
I
right?
hate that. He's the best black mage.
Yep, he's the most powerful magic user. He's the only mortal to ever cast Zeta Flare on screen.
Huh.
Previously, you had to be a demigod to do that.
Only
final bosses and shit. Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, they did. Yeah, wow. Okay. Wow.
Goofy's like, Donald, you can't do it, and he's like, I have to, Goofy. Oh my god! I tried to do a Donald Duck voice for a second there. I immediately gave up on that. Abandoned that.
Murder face instantly.
Yeah, immediately. I have a murder face. I can tell you also, but he's like, no, I have to. It's the only way to save us. And then he does Zeta Flare. And it does the animation from Final Fantasy where it's a laser beam that shoots through other planets in space. And, he saves them. Casting the most powerful spell in Square Enix's, IP that anybody's cast.
That's crazy.
The murder face thing I wanted to tell you, though. So you know how he talks with that going on?
Yeah.
So I found out that in, many cultures, but specifically, Nahuatl and, native South American and Mexican cultures.
Yeah.
They use that TL as in their language pretty often, TL, Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah.
It's not Quetzalcoatl. The TL is indicative of a specific thing that they do in their language, which is the murder face sound.
Oh, wow. Huh.
So it's not Quetzalcoatl, it's Quetzalcoatl.
Oh, man. I like our version better. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. That's sort of like finding out that in Latin they didn't have V, they just did W sound, so it's Weenie Weedy Wiki.
Yeah.
No thank you. I'll have an Italian man say it wrong for me instead.
Yeah, based. No, that's definitely
also a little thing from growing up Catholic is you have classical Latin and ecclesiastical Latin, which are pronounced differently. So
really, so the church version of Latin is different.
Yeah, it's just pronunciations. That's it.
Okay, huh?
Whereas the actual Caesar is not Caesar.
It's Kazar.
It's
right?
Kaiser.
Yeah, Kaiser. Yeah.
Yeah, which is basically the same as Kaiser with a how the
yeah, because there are no soft C's in Latin.
And then in the ecclesiasticals it becomes soft.
Yeah.
Is that because Kaiser is just so aggressive sounding and they had to soften it up?
I don't know the origins of it.
Yeah,
that was just a thing taught to me, and it's that most of the pronunciations we use for Latin come from ecclesiastical Latin, and it's wrong, from a historical standpoint.
If we're talking about historical changes, especially to language, it can almost always come down to, well, one day a particularly powerful man wearing a dress said it that way, and now we say it that way.
And a big hat.
Oh yeah, big hat's crazy.
So
that's uniform across the world. 400 years ago in China, big hat, man in a dress said a thing weird. Okay, now we say it that way.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yep.
Having a big pointy hat makes you a wizard in Arcane. All right, this is established in Discworld.
Yes, facts.
And it's fucking true
These
across many
facts.
cultures.
These are all just straight up facts that we all need to accept, because the sooner that we do, the sooner we can move on as a culture to our next thing. We need to find out what the next kind of wizard is.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Technomancer.
Well, the problem is that most people like I feel like the language of like a wizardly man has gone down either the row of like Silicon Valley dork man, which is why Jesse Eisenberg
Technomancer
is like just like he's unbelievably powerful despite he's not that guy.
Yeah.
He didn't invent Facebook. He just looks like he has the same phenotype. Or we have the guys who are like in the West at the very least, we all agree that there's a certain kind of guy who if you put him in like dark clothes or like maybe the wrong shade of red, everyone's like, and that guy represents the devil.
Yeah, he just look at him go.
Those are our modern like understandings of wizards.
I feel like you could break it down even further.
Oh,
So
definitely.
what do we got? So technomancers would be computer boys.
Yeah.
Artificers, engineers.
I guess autism is just what wizards are.
and,
Now that I think about it.
Special interests are powerful.
We got our healers.
Yeah, doctors.
Those are doctors and surgeons.
Yeah.
They're not popular right now.
What do we else? Our
We got druids. We got our
alchemists are fucking our chemistry boys.
Yeah.
And
we got druids. We got our green thumbs.
pharmaceuticals.
Warlocks are obviously like capitalist Elon Musk guys.
Yeah,
So-
dude, he's definitely a
They
warlock.
inherit their power from an outside source and then use it for
Yeah. Okay.
evil.
And then one category I was gonna throw in there. It's like instead of dresses and hats now, it's the suit.
Oh,
Yes.
dude, yeah,
And then
100%.
I was
That's
gonna
the regalia.
I was gonna put diplomancers, politicians.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Diplomancer is
Until
one of my,
real recently, I suppose that was pretty true.
I am so
Well, whether they use their powers for good or evil, that's
Yeah.
I am so surprised the term diplomancer has not caught on like wildfire.
Oh yeah, it's fucking perfect.
I don't understand why like I'm putting that in my Kilden novel and like I'm just shocked that I haven't seen it. Like diplomancer is such an obvious we have technomancer happened so quick. We thought we were so clever growing up. Oh, technomancer, ha!
Yeah.
And now that's just a commonly accepted fucking trope.
Yeah.
This guy's a technomancer. He's a wizard that does fucking technological shit. But diplomancer, a wizard about diplomacy, they have comprehend languages prepared on deck. They're always ready to fucking talk about some shit or litigate. Like that is, why does that not come? I guess it's not as sexy.
I mean, the only times that I can even particularly think of it is, it's actually really important. Dune.
Yeah, they have diplomancers.
The Bene Gesserit
diplomancers.
are just that, and they unironically control that universe.
That's what I'm
until
saying.
some random kid gets too good with a knife because he was born weird, and middle worm Hitler.
So, like, the way I'm trying to convey diplomancers and, like, why they're such, like, a big deal in my setting is that, like, okay, so, in Dungeons & Dragons, don't you know, there's a spell called Zone of Truth. So, when you're trying to have a high-stakes, like, litigation and trying to understand, okay, are we actually arguing in good faith right now? Zone of Truth. Boom. Oh, you're lying to me. I guess this means war. So the idea of a diplomancer is that, like, when you go to do terms or like do like high status political talking, you are allotted X amount of diplomancers, which are basically wizards with spells prepared to try to circumvent or expose if the other person is lying or deceiving you. And I got this a bit from Rob where we were playing in Brody's campaign, and we encountered the Drow. And I forgot who exactly we encountered, but he was waiting for the other guy to cast Comprehend Languages. And then after the guy popped it, Frogbert was like, okay, so now we can start talking. You see, in the wizard world, that's what we call a dick move. And, I fucking loved that, because that's exactly what that is. We're just going to sit here and stare at each other. Like playing chicken with our fucking glares.
Until one of us has to essentially waste a bullet.
Yeah.
In order for us to just talk to each other.
He just burned a spell slot. Now they have X amount of spells, and we have X amount of spells plus one. So it's like that. If you're like doing high stakes political litigation, high stakes political talk and discourse, and you have literally like, I guess in this situation, like 10 spell slots per side, and you sit there and wait for someone to burn one on Comprehend Languages because it's such a fucking trivial, low tier ass spell, that is, in the Diplomancer world, a dick move.
Oh, yeah.
Like that fucking... Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
There's also things to play around with that. Where like it's specifically, I think the first time I saw this was in the Drizzt novels, where the head drow wizard guy. They have the three schools. That's the fighter school, the wizard school, and then the one that the one that matters, which is where women go to become
clerics.
Clerics,
right? Yeah.
Lolth. And to be like the top wizard guy is basically like the highest a male can be in their society. He's Gromp, I think, and he's the son of like the head matron mother, and he's a big deal because he's kept that position for a long time. So he's like a big player, even though he's a dude.
Yeah.
And then he meets with the head of basically their thieves guild, and then this guy like knows not to fuck with him. And one of the first things Gromp does is cast like basically detect truth on him, and he knows that. But he knows that Gromp knows that he's skilled enough to dance around the truth. That it's like. The spell doesn't mean a whole lot. Like, you still can't lie to him, but it's a mark of his intelligence that
you can just tell half-truths.
He can still conceal information from him, and he knows that.
Yeah. No, because that's how I'm trying to write Lilac, to where, like, this is kind of spoilers to my own novel, so maybe I shouldn't say this, but you know what, it's masturbatory, so I'm doing it. I am trying to write her in a manner where she doesn't actually lie, almost ever. She won't tell you the truth, but she's not lying. That way, if
I wouldn't say that that's a spoiler.
Okay, well, yeah, good. Because, like, I am... Look out for that if you ever read my novel, but... Or if it ever actually comes in, I gotta finish that shit still.
It's also it's a Benny Gesserit thing.
Yeah.
They don't lie.
Yeah, true. Yeah, see, because if you do, then... And you do... You can hold it against them later. You can always hold that shit against someone, or, like, prove, like, you put them in a zone of truth, okay, it goes right or whatever. That person is now untrustworthy. And reputation is everything in these kind of settings. So, like, I like to imagine that, like, that's the ultimate manipulator and the ultimate deception does not involve lying at all.
I don't remember what series it was, but there was one of the many mangas and stuff that I've read. The magic system basically revolved around true words, true names and stuff. And basically one of the things that, like, the main character is told is, like, if your words become less valuable, then... like, your ability to do magic becomes less. And he's like, oh, so don't, like, use magic that often? And he's like, no, you can use magic as much as you want. In fact, using magic makes you better at using magic. What you can't do is lie.
That makes sense, because your word doesn't mean
If
anything.
If your word, as in, like, the way that you speak at all times, if it's, like, not always the truth, then it doesn't matter if you're using the true name of something. You might be lying. And the universe knows. God will.
That's fun.
God will see, and he will. Well, he won't smite you. He'll just not let you be a wizard.
Yeah, he'll give you the middle finger. Yeah.
Oh, this was from Faraway Paladin, because one of the bits was he talks about how the dragon's like every word that the dragon uses is so powerful, and like the dragon basically says like, yeah, I've been alive since like the start of time, and I've never told a lie. Because that's not even the kind of thing I am. I don't have to lie. I'm a fucking dragon. Yeah. I'm a dragon who fist fought the gods. Plural. Gods. I fought them. And I can die. They can't. And guess what? They're not around and I am. So do the fucking math on how boss it is to be a dragon.
What a flex.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
It's actually a less well put together show, but I still enjoy it because it's mindless fun. Is the fucking slime reincarnated as slime?
Oh yeah, slime is just isekai fun, good time.
Yeah, and
it goes down smooth.
Is it the most recent episode revealed the unique skill of the light speed hero, which is he has no
enemies.
He has no melee talent at all because his unique skill is like, I forget what it's called. It's like misconception or something. Whereas, no matter what he does, people will speculate so much around his actions that they will invent like these godly powers that he must have.
Yeah,
because the situation went his way.
So he has a crew of all the best dudes with him because every time that he meets somebody, and like if they're like one of them's like he was a bandit and he was like, all right then, I'll kill the hero. Draw your sword, and then he like doesn't even reach for his sword really because he's like, oh no. It's happening. I'm going to piss and shit myself at the same time. And the bandit's like, my God, he's so powerful. He doesn't even feel the need to draw his weapon. But he's also not just killing me. He must be a truly merciful man.
Yeah.
I think I might really like this guy. You know what? And he puts away his axes, puts his hand out to the hero. I'm in.
So fucking stupid. That's funny.
Yeah, like they had.
That's good.
They just had like a dumb little tournament that was like showcasing the slime village and whatever, and it was like he put on like a Japanese festival / like gladiator battle.
They had a
thing.
cultural festival episode
Yeah.
to like show that they're a real country now.
And
Because he's from Japan, you see.
you see,
and this guy gets
Don't
through
you
all
know.
his fights by not fighting, like
Yeah.
and like the last one is fucking the little goblin guy actually unlocks like a broken ass ability and like doesn't know how to use it and just like fucks himself, like
Yeah.
just moves so fast he just slams into the wall out of the ring.
And he gets a ring out. Even
And
though
then-
he could technically come back and fight, he was injured, but he was also, his ring out's over.
You know, then everyone was just like, "Oh my god, he was so fast, we didn't even see it."
He dodged
incredible.
before the attack was even thrown.
Meanwhile, he's
Truly
like
his ability.
sweating, being like, "That would have fucking killed
Yeah,
me if it hit."
he's
me."
having a full-on like existential crisis, panic attack because he was like, "Oh my god, I almost died. He didn't. Oh my god, he was actually going to attack me."
Yeah. And then there's like, well, he wins. He becomes a member of the Elite Four. Wink, wink.
Man.
And he's like, wait. Give me the microphone. He's just like, I love and appreciate this honor you've given me, but I'm going to forfeit. Like, I'm clearly not ready. Like, he says some bullshit about basically just like, you know, just declining respectfully, and then like,
No,
like just waves and like starts to walk off, and everyone's just like, oh, he's so noble. Like, oh,
Truly a hero of the people.
Misconception. That's funny. That's fun. That's a fun concept power. I like
Hell
that. Slime's pretty cute. I like it.
So speaking of slime and like isekai manga in general, so I never watched the movie The Martian, based off of book The Martian. And I recently watched it. I think they're actually really similar in concept because really, like most of the isekais, they gather like a fan base based off like the first arc, which is problem solving for survival, and it's introducing you to like whatever the gimmick of the series is or whatever. But that's how they hook you. And that's all that The Martian is. It's that part of every isekai where they're like, I'm in a problem now, but I'll tell you how my specific knowledge from like some other world can help me survive here. The Martian is just isekai, but it's for the Da Vinci Code's audience.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
supposedly the actual science like checks out.
Oh yeah,
like,
I think
because he mixes the shit with Martian soil, and then people are like, "Oh, Martian soil has perchlorates in it, and that's like toxic." And it's like, yes, it does, but not enough to like that to matter.
yeah,
Like especially after he's mixed it with human waste
yeah.
that has been freeze dried, because that's how you dispose of astronaut shit apparently. So it would have
freeze it
killed
and put it in a
all the microbes in it that could have made it harmful.
Yeah.
And so it's like it apparently perfectly checks out. Like yeah,
That's awesome. Man did his research.
It's my understanding that like the only like big like scientific leap that was made was the concept of being able to put down the habitat, which is that's the premise of every sci-fi story, except one small piece of like that's the fact of this universe now, and that a story can grow from that. That's what makes sci-fi different from just like space fantasy, which is some scientific advancement did this to the world. Here's a story. Which is why the progenitor of the sci-fi genre is Frankenstein, because it was written at the time that we first had the medical. Well, first that was when we were going through surgery theory at the time.
Yeah, bioelectricity and stuff.
Bioelectricity, it was only a theory at the time about how the muscles worked.
Because if you shock them, they move. Yeah.
Exactly.
sticking rods up corpses' asses and making them jerk.
And so it is the assumption of a scientific principle proven as fact, changes the world. What story comes from that? And that's the basis of science fiction. That's why Mary Shelley, inventor of science fiction.
And with that,
All of our queen.
We're going to end the episode here. Thank you all so much for listening. Do you guys have anything going on?
I don't have anything going on right now. I'm working on my own stuff, but very slowly, so I probably should stop announcing things.
Yeah. It sounds like you're in my book, man. I've been writing this for fucking way too long.
Yeah, nothing really going on with me other than playing Sekiro.
How's that going?
Fucking hard.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty bad at being a ninja.
Oh, man.
This is, of the From Software games.
You're so used to being a wizard.
This is the one where it's like, you don't really, you like level up, but really it's just, no, just get good, asshole.
Oh, man. All right. Well, have a great night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.